Hey everyone, and welcome! Today, we're going to talk about something that's on all of our minds, our incredible planet, and some of the really big changes that are happening to it right now.
So let me start by asking you something. Have you ever thought to yourself, wow, the summers feel way hotter than they used to? Or maybe you've heard your parents or grandparents talking about how the weather just isn't what it was? Well, you're not imagining things. Let's dive in and find out what's really going on.
So here's our game plan. First up, we'll look at how our surroundings are changing. Then we're going to break down the science of something called the greenhouse effect. After that, we'll talk about the dangers of pollution, but don't worry, we won't leave you hanging. We'll finish up by exploring some amazing solutions and the simple things we can all do to make a difference.
All right, first things first, our changing surroundings. But before we get into the changes, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we say our environment, what are we actually talking about?
Well, simply put, it's everything. The air we're breathing right now, the water we drink, the land we walk on, all the plants and animals, that's our environment. But here's the thing, it's changing. And a lot of those changes are because of us, because of human activities. Things like smoke puffing out of factories and the exhaust from all the cars and bikes on our roads, it's all changing the very air around us.
Now, all that stuff we're putting into the air leads us to a huge scientific idea called the greenhouse effect. To really get why our planet is warming up, we first have to ask a different question. How does our planet stay warm in the first place?
Okay, the best way to think about it is to picture a greenhouse for plants. You know those glass houses? Our planet has something similar, a layer of gases all around it called the atmosphere. This atmosphere acts just like the glass, trapping the right amount of the sun's heat to keep Earth cozy and perfect for life.
Let's walk through how this works. So the sun's energy shines down on Earth. The atmosphere lets that sunlight in, but when the heat tries to bounce back out into space, it traps some of it. This natural process is absolutely essential. Without it, our planet would just be a frozen block of ice. It's all about keeping things in balance.
So, what are these special heat-trapping gases? Well, they're called greenhouse gases. You've probably heard of the big one, carbon dioxide. But there's also methane, nitrous oxide, and even just plain old water vapor. In the right amounts, these guys are totally normal and necessary. They're part of what makes our planet livable.
But this is the most important part. This is where the problem starts. When our activities release too much of these gases, that perfect balance gets thrown off. The atmosphere starts trapping way too much heat, and the whole planet's temperature begins to rise. And that is what we call global warming.
So let's zoom in on the main culprit, carbon dioxide, or CO2. Where is all this extra CO2 coming from? Well, most of it comes from burning fossil fuels like coal and petrol in our factories and vehicles. And at the exact same time, we're cutting down huge forests, which are the planet's natural air purifiers that absorb CO2. It's a double whammy. We're adding more pollution while getting rid of the very thing that helps clean it up.
So what? Why does a slightly warmer planet matter so much? Well, the effects are really serious. All that extra heat causes the giant ice caps at the North and South Poles to start melting. All that melted ice flows into the ocean, causing sea levels to rise, which can lead to flooding in coastal cities and towns all around the world.
Now, global warming is a massive challenge, and you know what? It's closely connected to another huge problem, pollution. So let's talk about all the different ways we're, making our environment dirty.
So what even is pollution? It's basically when we add harmful things, like poisonous chemicals and all kinds of waste, into our air, our water, and our land. It makes our world dirty, unpleasant, and dangerous, not just for us, but for every single living thing.
And where's it all coming from? Honestly, it's all around us. The smoke from cars and factories that pollutes our air, the garbage we sometimes see just thrown out in the open, not to mention the harmful waste from power stations and factories that can end up poisoning our rivers and oceans. Okay, I know this can all sound pretty overwhelming, but here comes the most important part of our whole chat today. This is not a hopeless situation. There are so many things we can do. So let's talk solutions. The big question is, what can we do?
You know, the amazing thing is that tiny, everyday changes can add up to make a gigantic difference. For instance, choosing to hop on a bus or the metro instead of taking a car cuts down on pollution. Supporting cleaner fuels like CNG is a huge step. And maybe the most fun and powerful thing we can do? Plant more trees. They're like nature's superheroes, literally cleaning the air we breathe.
And it doesn't stop there. Here are a few more super simple things. Instead of burning dry leaves, we can turn them into compost for plants. We can choose to use biodegradable things that break down naturally instead of harming the environment, See? Simple habits, but when we all do them together, they have a massive impact.
And now for one of my absolute favorite solutions because it's so powerful and so creative. Recycle, reuse, and reinvent. This is all about looking at waste in a totally new way and giving old things a brand new life.
The big idea here is so simple, but it's brilliant. When we recycle and reuse, we just create less garbage. That means those giant mountains of trash you see on the outskirts of cities don't grow so fast. We are literally turning our trash into treasure. And the creativity here is just awesome. Think about it. Old rubber tires, instead of sitting in a dump, can be cut up and made into super durable slippers or chappals. Scrap metal can be melted down and turned into beautiful brand new jewelry. How cool is that?
And this stuff is happening all around us, maybe without you even realizing it. Did you know that pretty much every new car you see on the road has recycled parts from older cars? Or that the empty drink can you recycle today can be melted, reshaped, and back on a shelf as a new can in just a couple of months? It's happening every day.
So, we've looked at the problems our planet is facing, but we've also seen some of the incredible solutions that we can all be a part of. And that brings us to the final, most important question. It's not about what can be done, it's about what will you do. So think about it for a second. What is one small change you will make starting today to help our environment?